Once upon a time I was falling in love. Now I'm only recording a podcast. There's nothing I can do. It's time to record News Goblins. Hi, I'm Jared.
Now I'm Leslie.
Why are you giving me a sad face?
It wasn't a sad face. I was feeling it.
Oh,
I was
okay.
feeling it. It was nourishing.
Okay,
Okay, but that doesn't mean I want. We don't need more of it though. It's
Okay.
fine. It's enough. Hi, Jared.
What is up, Leslie?
All sorts of stuff, Jared.
I know.
Nerdy, newsy stuff.
You're getting ready to go to Las Vegas.
I am. By the time this is released, I will be in
Tinseltown.
lovely
The biggest little town in the state.
I'm going for work. First of all, I do.
Leslie's an Elvis impersonator.
I do trade shows and marketing for my day job.
Yeah,
So this is
as an Elvis
I'm
impersonator.
going to go do that. But I actually, I would never go to Vegas
What?
personally. I would never take a vacation there because I hate it. I hate it a lot.
Okay, well,
Like my ideal me time is quiet and there's a book, maybe some tea, a nice fire, the option to play some video games.
a hotel with a roller coaster inside.
Yeah, and then I go to basically a frat party the size of a city and get yelled at by drunk people while I have to wear high heels and have to pass bright flashing lights and incredibly loud music. It's great. I love it.
Bright eyes.
Okay, so let's talk about some news
Okay.
before I get too angry about having to go to the
Having to
loudest
go to a
city ever.
wonderful place that everyone loves.
I know everybody loves it. Doesn't mean I have to love it.
No, of course it doesn't.
Fuck Vegas. I'm sorry. Okay, so
All right, so we're sponsored this week by the Las Vegas Tourism Board.
Annihilation's out this week.
Yeah, how about that?
And we were going to go see it, but then I chickened out.
Well, we love the book. Sometimes am I correct in sometimes you saying that it's your favorite novel?
I would say, if
It's
I
up
had
there.
to pick one, it's probably, it's based on the Southern Reach series by Jeff Vandermeer. The first book of it is Annihilation. I think so. I think it was a book that really changed how I thought about stories and writing.
Yeah.
So those are the kind of books that are pretty high up in my favorite book.
So why aren't you seeing it in the theaters then, Leslie?
Because I cannot handle horror movies.
Yeah.
You know that fun little scare you get where like there's just a little bit of adrenaline in your brain and you're like, oh, that was scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, that just stays with me for the rest of the day. Like it's just like it begins a panic attack that I cannot escape from.
Yup. She writes good novels, but the drawback of having a good imagination.
I cannot
She can't
do
deal with
horror
horror.
movies.
I'm going to go see it.
Just
Because,
tell me, maybe if you go see it and you can kind of like,
Yeah.
I mean, you'll know.
Yeah, I will.
You know the sort of things I'm afraid of. If you go and you're like, I think you can handle it, I'll trust you.
Okay. Yeah, I will know. I mean, there's a certain kind of gore. There's a certain kind of sustained high tension gore that gets you.
Yeah.
I don't think that's what we're going to be looking at in Annihilation, but I will preview it for you and then cover your eyes at appropriate parts.
I appreciate it. So, for those of you who have not read the books, I do highly recommend the books. They're very, very good. But they're kind of almost a gothic horror sci-fi book where
Yeah.
the place is very much a character, and it's very much drives the plot. And it is about 4 women who are part of a expedition into this area known as Area X that is changing.
Yeah, it takes place in the Triple X universe.
No,
Yeah, so the
No.
main antagonist is Xander Cage.
no.
But he's been transformed into a lighthouse. Things I do for my country.
No. And it's skateboarding. You
Yeah.
forgot that part.
Right. So it
basic-
looks like the movie's good. It's certified fresh, 87% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is usually a good sign. I often agree with the tomato meter.
They did take some, what is that called? They got creative a little bit with the storyline for
Artistic liberty,
yeah, yes.
poetic license.
They took some liberty with the storyline for the movie. So it does diverge a little bit from the book.
Right.
Jeff Vandermeer himself said, quote, "The book and the movie share DNA, but I can still be surprised by the movie myself as a viewer, which is a nice thing."
Yeah. Yeah, it's one thing to write a book about Vin Diesel's character Xander Cage. It's
Right.
another one to see it brought to life.
You're just not going to get that subtlety. You're not going to get that emotional, like, inner life of Vin Diesel that you would in a book. So you're going to have more half pipes.
I'm ruining this.
You are.
It's a really moody, creepy, bizarro fiction kind of book.
Yeah.
Where you can't trust reality, and
Or
the
anyone
characters
else,
have
or-
to start to more and more deal with the fact that they can't trust their own senses. So when I heard they were making a movie out of it, I thought, okay, that's going to be difficult to pull off in a visual medium.
Yeah.
But it sounds like, from what I'm hearing, that they really captured the weirdness. Princess Amidala is in it. And what's his name? Pilot McDreamyface from Star Wars. What's his name? Bo Nose Space Fighting Bo Dambrick?
Podam?
Poe.
That's not his
Poe.
Oscar Isaac?
That's his character's name
That's his human
in
name.
Star Wars.
No, his character name in Star Wars is Poe Dameron.
Poe.
But his real name is Oscar Isaac.
Oh, okay. All right. I got it.
Yeah. The man who eats Cheetos with chopsticks.
Does he?
Yes, he does.
Oh, that's brilliant. What a life hack. Thank you, Star Wars, man.
Yeah. Well, it just changed your life.
Okay, so I don't know. Go see that.
Yeah, so go see it. It's good. And if I'm brave enough, I'll go see it and I'll tell you if I liked it.
I'll give
But
you a heads up.
I won't be.
All right.
Okay. Next up. So last, I think it was September, we had news that Joss Whedon had been selected to write and direct Batgirl.
No, 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 no. Firefly.
And at the time, I was not excited about this.
Nope. He's had a little baggage lately.
He's had a little baggage, and he kind of has one view of how to write his female leads,
Why? What examples would you have of that?
and I'm kind of done with it.
Yeah.
And I was especially worried because, and I went and found this quote to make sure I got it correctly. Got it correct. Excuse me.
Yeah.
What he said about it was, quote, I started getting obsessed with how a young woman could get hardcore enough to put on the cowl. Like, what's her damage?
Yeah. I'm starting to get obsessed with young, nubile bodies
If
and
only I could hurt her enough to make her heroic.
how they might be tortured
Yes.
into madness.
And then awesomeness being the only way that my characters can get there. Anyway.
Sounds very
so
erotically
he
charged.
has left Batgirl. He's officially left as writer and director.
He is fucked up a lot, but I actually kind of respected the quote where he was just kind of like, I realized I didn't have a story.
Yeah.
Well, hey, thanks for admitting that
Yes.
and backing out.
Thank you for leaving instead of just making it horrible and tortured.
Maybe let's get a lady writer in here.
Speaking of which, one of
Yes.
my faves,
Yeah.
Roxane Gay, she wrote Hunger, she wrote Bad Feminist, and most recently she wrote World of Wakanda
Oh,
for Marvel.
nice.
She was tweeting that she wanted to do it. And then the vice president of Warner Brothers tweeted back at her, if you're interested, call me.
What?
So that would be really cool.
Holy shit, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
That'd be very weird and very cool. Like, what a weird world we live in, where a tweet can turn into maybe an awesome Batman writer-director.
It's not that weird anymore.
That would be cool.
It's the president's main way of communicating. So Twitter is its own strange animal now.
That's true. But I think she'd do a good
Well,
job.
that would be awesome. I mean, Black Panther is such a phenomenon too.
Yeah.
And so she writes for the comics?
No, it's a novel. It's in like a novelization.
Oh, okay.
Actually, let me make sure about that. I'm going to Google that. Entertain everybody.
Okay, everybody. Here we go. I'm going to vamp. All right. So, how about airplane food, huh? I don't have anything. Leslie, help!
It is a comic book. I'm sorry. I don't know why I thought it was a novel. Probably because I know her as a novelist, writer.
I'm not sure she
so-
isn't an OSU graduate.
Is it? Is she?
Yeah. I saw the OSU English department bragging about that one of their grads was writing for Black Panther. And that name sounds vaguely familiar. So, I'm just saying. Uh-oh. She's going on
I'm
another
Googling
Google
it.
journey. Google journey.
Yeah. Yep.
This is the
Cool.
part of the show.
That's awesome. No, you're right.
Where
You were
Leslie
right.
Googles things.
We're done.
Okay.
The section's done. Okay. So goodbye, Joss. Maybe hello to Roxanne.
Yeah.
That would be cool. Quick news, Wrinkle in Time is out on March 9th.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I got to admit something. I never read Wrinkle
You never
in
read
Time.
it? I loved it when I was little.
Everybody loves it. It seems like everybody loves it and had to read it in
Yeah.
school. And somehow I was obsessing over abandoned children surviving in the woods books, and I missed it.
I remember specifically that I kind of had a skewed view of it because my mom hated it.
Oh, well, good.
So, like, but that at the time, like, really colored, like, I was determined to hate it,
Oh.
and I didn't.
Oh.
And I was really
Oh,
confused.
no. You rebellious youth.
That was the beginning of my loving.
It looks... Is
speculative
Oprah
fiction.
in it? Did I
Yes.
make that up?
Yes, she is.
Okay, and she plays Time.
No.
She plays the
Do you know
doctor.
anything about this story?
It's about a scientist who figures out how to make time go wibbly wobbly.
Okay. It's actually about his daughter.
And there's a bear made out of
No.
chronotons
Nope. That's.
that tries to eat the picnic basket.
Oh, for a minute, I thought you were talking about the Golden Compass.
Keeps
but
the
nope, you
reality
lost me.
together.
We're talking about
I don't know.
Yogi?
No.
Are you just pitching your book? What's happening?
No.
Here? Are you having a stroke?
I'm guessing.
Okay. That is not what it's
I
about.
have a chance.
It is about the daughter of a scientist who is like a time expert.
Cool.
And she goes on an amazing adventure to fight the darkness.
Well, wow. I
Yeah.
hope she grows as a person.
I bet she does. Another quick news item is there might be a new Overwatch hero, but this might be kind of a stretch.
Okay.
So there was a tweet from Blizzard, and it had a letter that basically talked about an old mission that that Overwatch had gone, and it mentioned a character that we have no information on, and I'm gonna do my best to pronounce his name. It's Emre Saraglu. It's a Turkish name,
Emre Saraglu.
meaning friendship.
Hmm.
But we don't know who that is. We don't know who that is.
Interesting.
There's some speculation that there was a picture of the Overwatch crew, including like a 12-year-old Pharah. And there's some speculation that in that photo, on the bottom left, there's a character we don't know. That might be Emre.
We have characters that fly and race over the ground. I think it's time for a burrowing character. Like a mole man character that, like, just dives into the ground in a spray of dirt and then pops up.
Okay.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. I'd like to get another tank, I think.
Seems like we have a lot of tanks
We
now.
do. We have a lot of everything, though. Like, what do we
Okay.
need? More DPS?
So now they're just enriching the world.
Yes.
Well, that's cool.
I'd like another healer, another tank. That'd be great.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
What else you got? Person who does research.
Yeah. So this next one's a bummer. Strap on your...
That's what we
Bummer
do here on this comedy podcast. What you got?
So, I mean, the real world news this week, unfortunately, was the shooting in Florida.
Right.
Which claimed the lives of 17 students. And there has, on top of that, been a lot of discussion about, well, what do? We need to do something. What's to be done? And, of course, the students are pushing very hard for tougher gun laws.
Mm-hmm.
The president and several other people are taking a different direction and pushing for stronger restrictions on video game and movie violence.
Oh, not this again.
Yeah, this again. And I'm going to go ahead and read his whole quote so we can sort
Okay.
of dig into it.
Fine.
So the quote was, "We have to look at the internet because a lot of bad things are happening to young kids and young minds, and their minds are being formed, and we have to do something about maybe what they're seeing and how they're seeing it, and also video games. I'm hearing more and more people say the level of violence in video games is really shaping young people's thoughts. And you go one step further, and that's the movies. You see these movies, and they're so violent. A kid is able to see the movie if sex isn't involved, but killing is involved, and we need to put a rating system for that." First of all...
God, he's like the avatar of Twitter. He has become Twitter.
Yes.
Just little tiny disjointed thoughts, good or bad.
But first of all,
Okay, all right.
regardless of the syntax of the leader of our country,
All right, we'll leave that alone.
we have a rating system
Yeah, I think I've
for
heard.
movies and video games.
And violence is one of the factors.
I
Huh?
had to work at GameStop for 5 years, and I had to get kids gosh darn IDs and tell them they couldn't have the M-rated video games.
Yeah. I'm in my mid-30s, and somebody ID'd me to buy a video game
Yeah.
this year.
Yes. It was a big deal.
Yeah.
I had to sit there. I mean, they even had a policy where if a parent came up with a kid and had an M-rated game, I had to flip the box over and explain to them why it was M-rated.
Yeah.
This is a thing.
And this is GameStop.
This game's like
Yeah.
not like the pantheon of moral responsibility.
Right, yeah, that is what I was hinting at, yes. Yeah, we got that. We got it.
We got it.
Yeah. I mean,
this was happening when I was in high school and there were shootings and everyone was like video games. And I'm like, I'm actively playing a violent video game this second and I'm okay.
yeah. I mean, anecdotal evidence aside, I was a college English teacher for 4 years and have read so many essays on either side of this. And,
Yeah.
and I've assigned articles on violence in video games affecting violence in reality. I mean, the data isn't there.
I mean, part of the issue is the data isn't there. And one of the reasons the data isn't there is because of the Dickey Amendment.
Right.
And the Dickey Amendment states we're not allowed to study if there's a connection between video game violence and actual gun violence because we're not allowed to study actual gun violence.
Right. The government won't fund the CDC to do any research that might lead to gun control, basically.
Right. We're not allowed. So maybe there is a connection. Maybe there is. But we can never know, apparently.
No, we can just guess.
Just guess.
But I mean, spoilers, there isn't.
Yeah, and part of the reason we know there isn't is that we sell these video games and movies to other countries. Every country, almost every country plays these same violent video games. And there are countries like, for instance, South Korea, who play them at a rate much higher than Americans. And their gun deaths are much lower.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, geez. I'm old enough that I've been around before violent first-person shooters, barely.
That's adorable.
It's true.
Actually, I think I am too, so what am I talking
well,
about?
I'm just saying, like, and before that, it was, shoot 'em up westerns and war movies, and these ideas were not introduced by video games.
People raked comic books in a pile and set them on fire because that was the problem with our youth. And before that, it was newspapers, and before that, it was kids going and getting coffee with their friends.
Yeah, I mean, I have news for you. What makes a narrative interesting, a story, entertainment, is conflict. And in conflict, people shoot each other.
Yeah.
I
mean, you can go back to the Odyssey. Violence is part of a narrative. What we fail at is actual violence and actual tension on young people. We just don't want to deal with it all.
Yeah. Yep, seems to me the bigger problem is letting an 18-year-old get an assault rifle.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yes. So there's that. That's our opinion on violence in video games. Now, am I saying, like, yes, as a parent, you should be responsible for the media that your child is ingesting?
Nope.
But to me, the bigger problem is not one single, and I have the same problem with people who are like, well, this book is going to make them uncomfortable, or this book A single piece of media is only going to be detrimental if it is the only piece of media they ingest. So yes, if your child is only playing Call of Duty all day, every day, and they don't do anything else, yeah, I would be pretty worried about that. But if they play a wide variety of games, if they ingest a wide variety of movies and books, congratulations, you've done a good job as a parent. Yeah. That is what you want to create, is someone with wide tastes who can get a variety of perspectives on the world.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's hard for me to imagine limiting violent behavior by limiting access to the idea of violence. That just...
Yeah, if we just don't talk about it.
A genie's out of the bottle, people.
And in that case, like, we have to talk about the fact that we have ROTC in schools and Army recruiters can sit down at cafeteria tables.
Yeah.
And talk about how cool it will be to join the Army. Like, we talk about real violence
sure.
pretty flippantly.
Yeah.
So if we're going to limit it in a fictional sense, we got to talk about limiting it in all senses. And we still haven't solved any underlying problems.
No. Yeah, time to end those football programs.
Yep.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah, so there's
That's
our rant.
dumb.
Thanks everyone for listening to our rant on why hot coffee is still dumb. We got an email.
Oh.
We got an email.
I keep
Chad.
asking for emails, but I have to admit that I've been kind of crappy about checking the emails.
Well, I check.
Oh, okay. Good
And
job.
we got an email.
Thank you, responsible one.
Yes, I did actually miss this email last week, so I'm only more responsible than you.
That's enough.
So, yeah, this is an email about nerd couples.
That's us.
That's us.
We're one of those.
Yeah, so Brian sent this in. Thank you, Brian. I hope
Brian.
you're listening. Brian says, Dear News Goblins, you guys are a nerd couple, right?
Correct.
Help me solve a nerd couple problem. We will try. My girlfriend is nerdy about some things, but not others.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things she's not into is video games, and often gets angry if I play a lot. She says they're a waste of time, but they're my hobby.
Okay, well,
There's a couple things here.
yeah, I this one seems pretty easy to me, but I think we have some things we can discuss. What's
Yeah.
your take?
I mean, there's some missing information here, right?
Sure.
The missing information is how much time are you spending
Yeah,
playing video
that's
games?
that's where I was gonna go. You know, a couple doesn't become one person and shouldn't. You should each have your own interests. It doesn't particularly matter if they're distinct. It's fun when it overlaps. It's fun when it doesn't overlap,
Yeah.
because then you can talk about different things. If the issue is you come home from work every day and spend 8 hours playing video games and then go to sleep and I'm feeling neglected, that is a different issue from I
Yes.
don't want you to play video games because I think they're frivolous.
Yeah, if the issue is I don't feel like you're spending enough time with me, like I don't feel like I'm getting attention and connection, yes, that is an issue. Then we need to talk about how much time you're spending video games. But if the issue is I don't like how you are spending your free time specifically, that's a problem.
Yeah, that's a relationship problem, because you are certainly within your rights, as is he or she, to do whatever they want.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you should be playing video games. Video
Yeah.
games are great.
If
And
you like playing video games, play video. Now, and again, the other issue is like, in this case, Brian is saying that like she thinks they're a waste of time. And again, my question beyond that is like, does she just hate video games? Because that shouldn't matter. She
Right.
should let you do the thing that's fun. But if she thinks like they're a waste of time because there's other things you should be doing, again, that's a more complicated problem.
yeah, but you need to have a sit down talk and say, hey, I get that maybe you don't see the value of these. Obviously, they have a value to me. They help me relax. I find them fulfilling. You know, this is the kind of entertainment that I am choosing for myself to relax and unwind.
Yes.
Perfectly valid. Now, if there then needs to be a negotiation about
How much time and when? And
right, then hey, that's a conversation that is probably appropriate to have within a couple where you respect and love each other. So
Absolutely. So basically, I think your issue here might just be you need some more and more complex communication.
yeah, talk more.
Yeah.
Talk more is usually the solution for relationship issues. But I mean, if her point is video games are dumb, they're a thing dumb people do, I think you're within your rights to push back on that.
I think so too.
Yeah, but otherwise,
Because-
really get to the root of why these conversations are happening.
Because you know what else is dumb? Literally anything that
Yeah.
humans do to fill their time.
Watching TV,
Yeah. Football.
gardening,
All dumb.
whatever. Yeah.
Serves no purpose except to make us happy.
Yes.
Petting a dog.
It's the magical journey of life.
Right.
Yeah.
You need to fill your life with things that make you happy.
Yeah. Sure.
Knitting.
Things that make you grow and teach you things, great. I would
Painting.
argue that video games also make you grow and teach you things.
Reading books.
But yeah. Yeah.
Other dumb things that I enjoy.
So there.
Yes. So yeah, I think you need to have a more complicated talk about this, but I support your video gaming.
Yes. Good job.
And that's all we have for this week, everybody.
Well, okay.
I'm going to go pack.
Oh, Vegas.
Vegas!
Viva Las Vegas.
I'll post some pictures for you guys to show you how little fun I'm having.
You're a weirdo.
I don't just...
Bye, everybody. Oh, wait.
Bye,
No, wait.
everybody.
Hey, wait. We need to say our things. Wait. Don't forget.
You can like us on Facebook and you can follow us on Twitter. You can also send us an email at newsgoblins@gmail.com.
We'll talk about your business.
We'll talk all about your business.
Subscribe and all that stuff, and also leave us a review on iTunes.
Yeah. Okay, now.
All right, everybody.
Every
Ah!
week!
We say goodbye like Muppets.